Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy Age Academy. Welcome to this initiative where we are discussing the practice questions from the mains point of view. If you have not watched the other videos in this particular playlist, I want you to strongly watch the first video of this particular playlist where I have discussed what should be the introduction for the answer, what should be the conclusion, and also what should be the body of the particular answer. So, hoping that you have watched the first video in this particular playlist, I'm continuing with this video. So before we continue, I want you to hit the subscribe button and also press the bell icon so that you will not miss any update from the Legacy IAS. Let's begin with the first question for today. The minimum support price, that is MSP, minimum support price, that is MSP, protects the farmers from the price fluctuations and market imperfections. In the light of the given statement, critically analyze the efficacy of MSP. Okay, see, by nature, I always tell you have to divide the question into two important components. So the first component here will be the statement that is given, that is MSP protects the farmers from the price fluctuations and the market imperfections. So because this is a statement given in the question itself, we will have to substantiate this statement. So how do we substantiate this particular statement? It's easy. So let's analyze what is MSP. Okay, let's think about what is MSP. Let's assume this is a farmer and the farmer has grown rice. See, this is a farmer in a very rural area, and he doesn't have any good idea about where to market this particular produce. So, if the farmer goes to any wholesaler or a broker in between, there are very high chances that the broker will easily be able to manipulate the farmer. Even though the market price of, let's say, this rice is 30 rupees per kg, but the broker will be able to convince the farmer to just 10 rupees or 12 rupees per kg, which means the farmer who is a hard working person who should get the credit of this entire yield, but what's happening to the farmer here? Farmer is losing out because of the intervention of this particular broker. So in order to eliminate such practices from happening, the central government introduced a concept called as MSP. We can call it as minimum support price. So according to MSP, the central government will announce MSP, and central government says, irrespective of the amount of rice that you have grown, I will procure the rice. The government is procuring the rice at 30 rupees per kg. Understood? The government is procuring rice from the farmer directly by paying minimum support price. So while doing all this, what is the government aiming to do? Government protecting the farmer from price fluctuations and the market imperfections. Okay, so this is the reason, this is the rationale behind coming out with MSP. You might ask the question, so what will the government do by procuring this entire amount of rice grown by every farmer in India? So what is government doing with all this? See, what government is doing is, government is issuing this entire rice which is procured by paying MSP to the states. And the states, through the fair price shops, we can call it as ration shops. Through these fair price shops, the state governments are distributing it to the people. Okay, through a program called as PDS, that is Public Distribution System. Correct. So this is something to deal with the MSP. Let's see. Minimum support price is an agricultural product price set by the government to purchase directly from the farmer. This is what I have told you, and this should be a part of your introduction when you're writing the answer. Advantages of MSP. What happens because of MSP? Food security. Food security, how MSP guarantees food security? See, I've told you, the central government, after procuring these goods, what will central government do with it? Issue it to the states, and the states will distribute it to people, and the same rice that the government is procuring by paying MSP is being distributed to the poor people. So what's happening here? Food security is being taken care of. Price fluctuations. Even if after announcing MSP, let's say the government has told in the month of November, let's say government will procure rice at 30 rupees per kg. So January or February, 2 or 3 months later, the prices of the goods, prices of the rice actually fall down to 20 rupees or 15 rupees per kg. Even then, if the market price falls below MSP, even then the government will give MSP that is guaranteed to the farmer. So this will insulate farmer from price fluctuations. Increasing in the farmer's income by increasing the MSP, government can easily increase the farmer's income. Correct. Next, surety for farmers. Yeah, now the farmers have trust. See, irrespective of whatever the amount of rice that I'm growing, I have government to procure it. So farmer has this particular confidence. Constraints in the MSP, stagnant rates of MSP from the last 10-15 years. If you look at, the minimum support prices have not seen a tremendous increase. They have not seen a tremendous increase. So stagnation with respect to MSP, lack of awareness of the farmer. So sometimes farmer will not get to know if the MSP was introduced or MSP was announced by the government for his crop or not. Unequal access to the markets, issues in the WTO. So what are these issues in the WTO? In the chapter called International Economic Organizations, you would have studied about WTO, and under WTO there are different types of subsidies that a government can actually give it to the farmers. Okay, let's say we have the classification like amber box subsidies, okay, green box subsidies, red box subsidies. So the MSP that is given is a direct cash that is given to the farmer, and this is the reason why WTO has placed some restrictions on such cash distribution. So even though the government wants to increase the MSP, if government increases the MSP, then it will be like we are violating the norms set by WTO. Okay, so there are a lot of complications involved in this. Correct. So this is what you will have to write about in this particular question. Let's talk about the second question for today. The second question says, financial inclusion is an essential tool in pursuit of social justice. In the light of the given statement, examine the role of digital technology in furthering the cause of financial inclusion. See, in the introduction, you will have to talk about financial inclusion. So you can write the definition of the financial inclusion. Okay, what is financial inclusion? Or okay, definition is something that everybody would write. If you want to make your introduction bit more different, then you can make use of some of the policies or schemes that were introduced by the government in order to achieve financial inclusion. So these are some of the ways in which you can do it. First one, ease of operation. Okay, so digital technologies are playing a very crucial role in enabling the financial inclusion by ease of operation. Like how? For example, now we have UPI. Rather than carrying cash, it's very easy for a farmer to carry mobile phone with him. One thing. Second thing, let's look at all the merchants. For example, the roadside vegetable vendor. Carrying cash for every house that he goes, every street that he travels is a difficult job. So what is he now having? He's having a bank account. He's having a QR code. So every payment directly gets into his bank. So at the end of the day, he can just go to the bank and withdraw money whatever he wants. So ease of operation is one thing that has happened because of the digital technology and the financial inclusion. Better governance and policy implementation. Any loan scheme that is being implemented by the government. For example, if the government says for urban entrepreneurs, so there is a scheme and you will have to enroll in this particular scheme and you get this particular amount of loan possible. So how will all this happen? This will happen because of the governance and the financial inclusion. Increase the tax base. As and when people started opening their bank account and all the transaction started happening through digitally, that's when the government could trace the money trail. If at all anything has happened, if at all there's a tax evasion or a tax avoidance, it is easy to trace the tax base. Integration of the financial services, like for example insurances, pensions, salaries, all these got integrated into the digital transactions and the bank account. So we have an initiative called as Jandan Aadhaar Mobile. This is also called as JAM Trinity, which means every bank account should be linked with, every Jandan account should be linked with Aadhaar and also should be linked with mobile. Okay, so these are some of the provisions that the government has come up with in order to ensure the financial inclusion. Let's talk about challenges. One important challenge that we have is of the connectivity, infrastructural issues, also connectivity. Okay, internet connectivity. Second important issue that we have is literacy, digital literacy. correct? And the third important, non-universal access to the bank accounts. How many of the Indians have bank account? See, 2016, 2017, after Jan Dhan account, the number of bank accounts has considerably increased. There's no doubt in that. But what is that percentage of the Indian population which don't have a bank account? It's actually even more. It's actually more now. When compared to the other parts of the world, India has more number of people who don't have bank accounts. Digital divide, literacy, urban and rural population have a very great digital divide. Correct? Informal cash dominated economy, very much informal economy that we have in India, and informal economy is cash dominated. Cannot help more with this particular thing. So these are some of the challenges that we have. So if you have followed this, I hope you have followed this. If you have liked the video, hit the like button and also subscribe to Legacy Academy for more such enriching content. Have a nice day. Thank you.